Welcome to the 2021 year-end review, and I do this every year. This one is going to be different in how I film it. I want to just be more relaxed and sit here and have my screen in front of me. I've done them in the past where I've used my phone, and I've even done some where I wrote all of them down the back of my cable bill just so I could keep track of it. But now I have a spreadsheet in front of me so we can actually get involved into the videos. Also, I'd like to point out that this year we did about 160, 170 videos for the year, and 51 of them were reviews. So as always, the majority of the videos on the channel are not reviews. So thank you so much to the patrons and everyone else who supports the channel. So when we don't have kind of like product sponsors or something like that to make content, I can still make all the content that I think you guys like. And so you know, it's called the 2021 year in review, but it starts from when we did the last year in review. So there was one video last year that did not get captured in last year's year in review, so it'll be in this year. And it's the Kolos guitar. I said the guitar had a lot of issues, and there's a couple things to talk about with that. Important part is this: the owner of Kolos Guitars reached out to me, and he listened to a lot of things I said, and I worked with him for months back and forth on improving the guitar. I learned that the neck is not carbon fiber. It's like a 3D printed kind of plastic impregnated with carbon fiber. He was able to add 2 carbon fiber rods to the neck, and that he was able to make it strong. He was eventually able to send me one of the prototype guitars, which I'm showing you right now, and the neck is far better than it was before. He also improved the bridge. Now, I recommended that he do a string through the back bridge because of all the issues. He was able to do a bridge that I think is improved, but not 100% better. A lot of improvements that still can be done, but the bridge is improved, and unfortunately, he was not able to move or adjust the output jack and where it's positioned in the back. But the important part is we were able to improve that instrument, and so the newer ones are better than the ones before. So I don't know if I could still recommend that guitar, but I could recommend the new version over the old versions, at least by saying they're better. The next guitar I reviewed, ironically, was an aluminum neck guitar from Aluminati, and I put that on a Fender body, and I still have that neck and guitar. I love it. In fact, the only thing is, when I did that, they sent that neck out, and I put it on a strap body, and that was because I thought, well, maybe that would make a good video, you know, putting that neck on the body and doing that. Since then, I've kind of regretted I should have put it on a telly body, and that neck will eventually go on a telly body, and I'm going to keep that. I love that neck. It feels great. It's stable. It just, man, the notes pop out. It's just something different. And every once in a while when I want to play something like that, it's just kind of nice. The next video I did was the Blackstar ID Core V3. It was affordable. It sounds good. And I really think it could have been improved by a more up-to-date USB plug port. But again, not the end of the world. Just that was my suggestion. Other than that, it was a very good amp. And for a fraction of the price, or half the price, I should say, of a Spark, I would say that you could get that and get in that Spark range. I have a Spark, and I'd say the Spark's a little better, but it's pretty close for, like I said, for $100, $150 versus the $250 for the Spark. Then I did the Paul Reed Smith SE Arize Verde. I also, right after that, did the Zach Myers PRS SE, and I loved both those guitars. In fact, I ended up getting something that I thought worked perfect, and I don't know how it all came together, but it came together. I was able to get a Paul Reed Smith Custom 22 semi-hollow in with some of the features I loved about the Zach Myers, which is the matching headstock is flame to the body, and this has got the neck that's not as chunky as the Zach Myers, but not as thin as the Custom 24 SE neck. Everything about this guitar I love, except for I'm not a huge fan of the pickups. I mean, they're good. They're not great. I'm going to upgrade these pickups. And this guitar you've seen in a bunch of videos. So that's kind of happened. That's kind of what happened with those guitars. Next video I did was the X-Sonic, which is a pedal that you can use to control amplifiers. You can use it to start and stop videos on YouTube. You can use it to control and features on your Spark. It's MIDI controllable. It's Bluetooth controllable. And I have to say, I still use that pedal. I still have one. I like it very much. Like I said, the added benefit now that it can control your Spark. Next video was the Cort G300 guitar. That was sent out by Cort. That was a loaner, so of course I don't have it because as soon as it got here, I had to go back. You're going to notice something on the channel. I think I did 3 Cort guitars in a period of 12 months. You guys, whenever I do a video of a guitar, man, they sell a lot of guitars. And that has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. And when they sell a lot of guitars, you can see they really come back to it and they say, hey, can we do more of these videos? The last one did good. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. And so that's why I try not to get caught in that doing the same brands over and over again. But it's really tough because when they're sending, brand sends a product out, it really helps the momentum of doing the videos financially. And that leads me into where we go next, which is the next guitar I did was the LTD Eclipse. That was a video like the ones I'm going to be talking about in a row right here. And you guys kept saying, hey, why so many of the same guitars? So I bought an LTD. That guitar was fantastic. And of course, I don't have it because I sold it immediately. Anytime I'm buying a guitar just to show you guys or do the video, I buy the guitar and then immediately flip it. Most of the time it's some kind of loss, just to get it on the channel and mostly to break up the monotony of, otherwise, like I said, this would just feel like infomercials for the same brands over and over again. Whenever I can spread out the brands and be, I like to keep it fresh, and plus it's good for me, keeps things fun for me. That guitar was fantastic. But like I said, it had to go for the next video, which the next video was the Ibanez RG565 made in Japan, which I thought was a beautiful guitar. Came in the orange. If you guys remember the video, the frets had a few issues. They were sticking out, so I corrected that. Beautiful guitar. I love it. $1,000 made in Japan. Quality instrument. I didn't keep it because, of course, like I said, I had to sell it to churn into the next video. And the next video was the G&L ASAT Classic made in USA. Another fantastic guitar. Like I said, I bought that guitar at, I think that was Music Store Live I bought that from. I guess if you guys continue to ask if I want to put G&Ls back on the channel, I will do them. I reached out to G&L and see if they were interested in sending any of the tributes, more affordable ones, and they were not. So unfortunately, to get G&L on the channel, I got to keep buying them. So it's up to you guys. I really need to hear your guys' kind of roaring comments of what brands you want to see on the channel for me to spend the money to buy those guitars to get them on the channel. The next one was the Thronbuckers. Again, I bought the set of Thronbuckers. Fantastic pickups. I still love them, absolutely. They're not in any specific guitar right now. I put them in a Strat, checked them out in that. I liked them. Put them in a Les Paul, checked them out in that. Right now, they're just in my cartridges for my interchangeable guitar, and so that way I can play them whenever I want. And I still like them a lot. And I think one day they'll probably find themselves permanently in one of the guitars somewhere. I just don't know where yet. The next video I did was the Sustainiac pickup. Again, another request by you guys. Hey, could you get a Sustainiac on the channel? I reached out to American Music Supply and they were kind enough to send it out so we could check that out. Very cool system. Very impressed. It led me to buying a Sinister Gates Schecter that I have currently now with the Sustainiac because I'm a huge Sinister Gates fan. And a huge Vintage Sevenfold fan, and of course, now I have a Sustainiac in that guitar. So that obviously made an impression on me, that video and that pickup, because now I have one in another guitar. Then we did the Sterling Axis, and that guitar was fantastic. They sent that out. I have to say that was one of those, like, I blew me away with the quality and the playability and the feel of the guitar. It was fantastic. What's nice about that guitar is they left that guitar, and one of my patrons, Alan's Music, asked if he could buy it. He bought the guitar, and he did a video, so I'll put a link to his video review of it, because he actually reviewed it, and that tells you something, because he actually physically bought it, so it'll let you know how much of what I said was accurate, or how much of it he probably didn't agree with, and what have you, but at least it gives you a kind of range of the guitar. The next video was, again, you guys requested over and over again, the Fender Tone Master series of amps. I was like, okay, what can we do here? And so I went and I bought a Fender Deluxe Tone Master and I did the video. And I did the video 10 things that I think that will make you not want to buy it, and 10 reasons I think you would want to buy it, because I have to say, like I said in that video, I hold up to it. It was a very good amplifier. It sounded really cool. It's got a lot of things going for it. The only thing I really dinged it for me, is the expense. I mentioned other things I think other players might have issue with. Me personally, the only issue for me was the expense. It was pretty expensive amplifier, which is why I don't have it to this day. Is I bought it, and then of course it's a lot of money to put out for something that I didn't intend to buy for myself. It wasn't something that was on a wish list of mine personally for a long time. So I sold it and flipped it so we can put into the next product, which happened to be the Sire L7. You can see how this works. I buy the product, they do the video, I sell the product off, take that money, and we buy another product. I did a video because you requested it. I bought the product, I did the video, and then they reached out afterwards and said, man, you make great videos. Can we get some more products on the channel? And they sent out some more Sires, so we'll be doing some videos on those coming soon. And that was great. Like I said, it's you guys that do that. It's your support. It's either the effort you put into putting the views and putting the thumbs ups and putting the comments so that the algorithm can take the video and grow it a little bit. Or a lot of you just flat out reach out to the company saying, hey, I enjoyed this video and you should have more of this stuff on these channels. so that, so that you can enjoy more. I sold the Sire L7. I have to say, out of all the guitars that I had to sell, that one was really bugging me. I almost didn't do it, and then I did it. And what I do, I took that money and I bought the next video that you're going to see, which is the Reverend USA. Now, there was an issue with that video, and the issue was a lot of you were like, well, yeah, but Reverend doesn't make guitars in the USA. Why'd you buy the USA one? I actually was not familiar with Reverend, so, I've said that before. I wasn't familiar with their brand and how it worked. I knew just a little about them. I went on Reverend and looked at prices, and what I saw was a really cool Reverend with a case, and it was a really impressive, and it was a super good price, so I bought it. What I didn't know at the time was it was the USA model. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was really focused on just getting a Reverend at a good price, so I can get on the channel so when I sell it, I don't take a beating. And it was a really unique and interesting guitar. And I'll talk about the later when I get to the next Reverend. But that was a really cool video. And of course, I sold that guitar and turned it into another product so that we can do another video. The next product I did was the Revolta guitar. It was a very cool guitar, and hopefully we'll see more of them on the channel. I just don't know if we'll see any more. They sent the one, and it didn't get the most glowing review. It got a good review. It's a very good guitar, but we'll see. Hopefully, they'll like to send some more to the channel. And like I said, we'll see. But other than that, yeah, nothing really big on that. Like I said, just it did okay. It was a good guitar. The next video was the Mark Lettieri PRS guitar. I thought it was okay. So I did the comparison. It was fine. Obviously, it went back to PRS. And I didn't ask them for any kind of like pricing or anything on that because, again, I wasn't interested. The next video I did was the Paul Reed Smith Archon amp. That was a new one. As you guys know, I was a huge Archon fan. I had the original. The new one came. I did the video. As you guys remember, that one had a blemish in it. We talked about that. And that was the minor issue with it, but it had a minor issue. Sound-wise, it sounded better than the original. Now, better is the wrong word to use. Different than the original, right? But one of the things it did is it kind of at lower volume sounded fuller, and it actually the gain, when you backed it off, it got crunchy instead of, the Archon's like high gain, and then it goes kind of clean. And the new Archon can kind of go in the sweet spot. What I will tell you is, I like that Archon so much, I sold my old Archon because I would rather have the new one. That one had to go back to PRS, so it went back, and I couldn't find another one since then. And after about a couple months of just waiting and trying to figure it out, I ended up getting a Bogner. And so now I have a Bogner Ecstasy. And like I said before, if it wasn't just the times that we're having now where it's just hard to find product and there's all kinds of supply chain issues, I think I just would have got the new Archon. But I'm happy with the Bogner. I'm happy it worked out, and that's where I ended. Okay. The next product I did was the Epiphone Muse. Now, I bought that Epiphone as well. That was, again, you guys mentioned Epiphone. And so after, so many times of hearing you guys like Epiphone, I bought an Epiphone Muse. It was a very cool guitar. I personally think the Sire was a better instrument. And obviously, I did buy both those guitars, but I bought them for the channel. If I was buying one for me personally, I would buy the Sire. But I'm a big Epiphone fan, as I said before many times. I'm a big Epiphone fan. And it was really cool. And it was really cool to do the video. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It looked like it did really well. If you guys want to see more Epiphones, you let me know. Like I said, I'll have to purchase them, but I have no problem doing that to get some interesting content on the channel. Now, the next one was for me, and it's a single cut bevel. Kiesel. Like I said about Sire, one thing I want to give the Kiesel guys credit for is I bought a Kiesel in 2019 because, again, you guys kept saying, oh, Phil, you're missing out. The Kiesels, that's the way to go. And so I bought a Kiesel Vader. I did the video. That video did well. The Kiesel guys took notice and basically said, hey, man, thanks for the video. That's really cool that you bought a guitar just to show it on the channel and highlight our brand. And we want to appreciate, we want to show our appreciation. So they sent me a Delos. And I like that Delos so much, and my Vader, which, by the way, I still both have. I have the one that I bought and the one they sent me, and I like that so much. I was like, okay, let's do something exciting. And so I did the single cut bevel in the purple crackle. That is definitely my favorite guitar this year because, of course, I spec'd it out exactly. It was built exactly to my liking, to my desire, and it's a fantastic instrument. The next video was the DoD American Metal. That was my very first pedal, so I bought another DoD American Metal pedal and tried it. I absolutely did not like it. In the video, I think I highlighted that it was very obviously tell in the video that I was like, oh, this is okay. It's okay. It was an okay pedal. it's okay. You know, sometimes the saying is you can't go back, right? You can't can't go home. I'm sure it's not a horrible pedal, and I'm sure I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but I think it's because, remember, I have to react to not only the pedal, but the memory of that pedal. And the memory of the pedal was, oh, yeah. And it was okay. So I didn't keep it, obviously. It didn't do anything for me. I knew I wouldn't use it. So the next video I did was the Cort X500 Menace. And again, was Cort saying, hey, the last video did so great. Let's send another Cort out. And again, it was a loaner. They send the guitar out. And then, of course, as soon as I'm done, and I'm pretty sure on that one, if you guys are curious, I'm pretty sure that guitar is at or went to Glenn Fricker. So I think he did a video, because I think that's what they do with those guitars. They just send them around to the channels or whatever, you know, maybe guitar magazines. And so that's what happened. Great guitar. Everything I said in that video, there was some couple issues, but not very many. And then a couple things I love about it. Nothing about that guitar sticks out. There's a video that I have to correct or add to. And why I don't have it is because it went back. The next one I did was the Firefly guitar video. And of course, that one went viral because, you know, inexpensive guitars videos tend to go huge sometimes. And that was one. But of course, in that video, I really went through that guitar. That was one of those guitars, again, so many of you just kept talking about. I didn't have to buy that one. They sent it out. They reached out and said, hey, would you like to do a video? And I'm like, as soon as I saw the email, the name Firefly, I was like, oh, I've heard that so many times on the podcast. That's got to be a brand to talk to. So I emailed back and I said, yeah, please send one out. I love that guitar for a lot of reasons. One, a lot of you guys always say, like, well, if they send it out, how do you know it's, you know, it's right? That's definitely a guitar thing, a guitar player thing. To me, if a company sends out a guitar, if they rig it so that they send me a perfect specimen, I think that's worse for them than better for them. I always tell you guys over and over again, and I'll say this over and over and over again. If you see me do a video and the guitar is perfect, and I say, man, everything is flawless, and this guitar is amazing, and you get one it's not, take my video link and send it when you complain. Obviously, this is proof that they can make a guitar like that. If I do a video and the guitar is not great, then you know that that one specimen came, and it's a probability that you might get a bad specimen. If I get a good specimen and it's great, well, then you know it's possible for them to do a good guitar. But like I said before, one video is not all guitars, whether it's good or bad. But more importantly, like I said, if you think they rigged it, well, if you get it and it's not like that, well, then complain, tell them. and my video is now evidence that, well, if they say that's how they come, then like, why didn't this one get it if they sent it to me? So, you know, the reason I tell you that is that's exactly what I tell the companies when I'm emailing them back and forth. Whatever you send me, please send me what you send everyone, because that is the benchmark you're setting out there for yourselves. So that's just my opinion for whatever it is. And in that particular video, that was kind of further proof of what I always say, that they don't really even look or care. You have to understand, everybody thinks that there's this nefarious kind of like propaganda logic when it comes to these YouTube channels. You have to understand that most of the time, the person you're talking to doesn't even work for these companies. They're just in marketing or sales. And sometimes they do work for the company, but they're really just overworked and trying to get boxes checked. Like, I gotta get 20 of these guitars out to social media, guitar magazines, whatever, and get the news out of the guitars. And so that all happens. And the other thing is, no matter what you might think of my channel, and maybe you have an internal value, maybe that watching me for a few years or watching the views maybe connects you to me personally, but a lot of companies, I'm just another YouTuber that they see everywhere, and we're a dime a dozen, and you know what I mean? It means nothing. They're not thinking like, oh no, what if this video gets viral? Or what if this person's has some kind of influence, you know, out there? It's none of that stuff comes to their mind, in my experience with most of the time. And Firefly would prove that to me. That guitar, they sent it, and as you guys know, I sanded the sides of the pickup ring, or the pickup cavities, and the truss rod to show that the woods weren't the woods they said. There was a bunch of issues with that guitar we talked about. And that in particular, when there's so many issues like that with a guitar, I always send a link to the company first to show them the video is coming out that way, and ask them for some kind of response so I can edit in what they said. For instance, like with PRS and the defective Archon amp with the issue, I sent that to them. They responded in that video. They said that they're sorry that it happened, but they'll take the time to look at all the other amps to make sure they don't have that for other customers. So in Firefly's case, they didn't respond, and it didn't matter to them that it was like that. It just what it is. It's a $200 guitar, and if you want to buy it, you want to buy it, and if you don't, you don't. The next video I did was the Behringer pedals. Now, again, I bought the Behringer pedals. That was from Sweetwater. That was on a podcast. You guys suggested we should get some and review some. I bought 6 of them and reviewed them. I really enjoyed those pedals, like I said. I said everything in that video I still hold to, which is they were good quality pedals. And you know, yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I said, I would use a few of them, no problem. And like I said, I bought them because you guys requested them to do the video. And so after I did the video, I basically took the entire pedal board that I made for that video, the pedal board, all the cables, the power supplies, everything. And I sold it as one package, and the person who got it was super happy, and they told me that it sounded fantastic. And so it's at a great home now. And I thought that'd be a little fun instead of just selling off the pedals to actually take the entire thing I made in that video and let it go. Then the next video I did was the Dimarzio pickup for the Fortitude. I still love that pickup, and I still have it in many of my guitars. I have, like I said, I have like 6 Fortitude sets, or 3 sets of 6 in different guitars. Love them. Fantastic pickups. I'm still happy with them, still love them. The Pedal Pal 800, that was definitely my favorite pedal of the year. It is the pedal that made me sell off my 800, JZM 800 Studio, basically. I was looking for that sound, that Marshall sound at a lower volume. That pedal just does it for me. You just plug in that pedal. I can run it into the effects loop of an amp in the front of a Fender amp. I can run it into my recording interface and run some cabinet IRs with it. Whatever I do, it just sounds fantastic. I love that pedal. And I will say this over and over again. If you don't like that pedal, if you try and you don't like it, you probably just don't like the Marshall 800 sound. So that's okay. That's okay. I absolutely love it. The next video I did was the Bad Cat Cub 40, and let me tell you, that amp changed my life. Very few things you can say that about, you know, very rare pieces of product that change your life. That amp changed my life, and the main reason is because it's so different than everything I've ever tried before it and since it. And, you know, I knew about Matchless, and I knew about those kind of amps, and I've played a few, but I never really had the time to spend with them. And I want to thank Bad Cat for sending that out and let me spend some time with that amp. And to kind of let you know, I still have the amp. I'm never going to get rid of that amp. I absolutely love it. What I found for me personally is it's my go-to amp all the time. I'm playing it all the time. It's definitely the amp I'm using the most since I've got it. I just keep drawing to it. For the channel, I use it a lot, but sometimes not all the time because, again, there's a sound to it that's very unique and cool, and maybe for a review purpose, it's not what I need. But I can tell you that I have been recording a lot in the last 2 years, recording a lot of music, and more than I've ever done before, and almost everything I'm recording, I have the Bad Cat in that recording. So that tells you a lot. It's the go-to for the sound. The next video I did was the Bogner Mini Head. That was probably the most expensive video I've ever done. As I told you guys, I did the Archon, and then I sold my old Archon. I was looking for the new Archon, and really that's the timeline that makes sense. So you have me, I sold my old Archon. There's supply chain issues. There's no new Archon to get. I'm waiting for the Archon, you know, right? I'm waiting to, you know, when's it going to come in? And then I get the Bogner Mini sent to me, and I play that, and I just really dig it. And then it starts like getting me going, like maybe I should look at Bogners. So that Bogner Mini Ecstasy kind of led me down to like, okay, instead of maybe getting the new Archon, I'll get the Bogner Ecstasy, which is what I did. And I absolutely love it. I didn't keep the Bogner Mini because after a while of comparing the two, I'm like, I got the full-size Bogner. Funny story though is that I was trying to show my buddy Ralph that the Bogner Mini is good, but not as good as the real head. And when I turned him on to show him that, I didn't turn him up because I was trying not to be loud. And they sounded almost identical. He was looking at me like, well, what did you just buy that expensive amp for? And then, of course, you turn them up. You're like, oh, see, now the real Bogners, the full-size Bogner's really kicking it. But at lower volumes, man, I think you could really, if you're practicing at night, that Bogner sounds like a Bogner to me. So really cool little amp. The next amp I did was the Enlg Iron Ball SE, and I have to say that it was a very versatile amplifier. It's very, very good. I still have the amp. I like it more than my Mark V Mini in a lot of ways, except for the clean channel in the Mark V Mini. I think is just a little fuller sounding. That was the only edge I give to the Mark V Mini. The only reason I say that is because I've had the Mark V Mini for about 5 years now. The Enlg Enlg Iron Ball SE, I think is a fantastic amplifier. I still like my Fireball more, being back and forth, but a lot of it has to do with, there's just a little bit more punch in the Fireball's distortion channel, just a little bit, and the clean channel is fuller. That's it. The feature set on the Iron Ball is great. Everything about that amp is just, it's a stellar amplifier. It's just really, really nice. It's fantastic. Obviously, like I said, that's why I still have it. The next one I did was the Reverend Charger Humbucker guitar. I did the Reverend USA one. We were talking about a podcast, and the people at Sweetwater were watching the podcast, listening to it, and they heard the banter of you guys saying we should get a Korean-made, a modern Reverend in here. They had just picked the line Reverend, so they sent one out. Now, that one was a loaner, so I had to go right back, so I don't have it, and I was able to review that one. And what I can tell you was, obviously, in that video, it was flawless. It was a great guitar. I had a lot of great things to say about it. Looking back to the American one, I couldn't say it's better, because again, I try not to think that way. But what I will tell you, there's a uniqueness to the Made in the USA ones, a craziness, and I know a lot of it is the materials they're using. You know, the phenolic kind of body that they're using that's chambered. But all that stuff aside, there's just something about the USA ones that just kind of like feels different. Like it doesn't feel like anything else, and it's kind of unique and it's got its own thing going on. But that being said, I think the average player, would like the new Reverends way better. They seem more just dialed in. There's just something about that. Reverend, like I said, they had to have it back. If they would have left it, I would have kept it. So for sure, I wouldn't have got rid of that guitar at all. If I could have, I probably would have picked one of the different versions than the Charger, but something like it, but just slightly different. But that Charger, the way it sat, that would be a definite guitar I would put in rotation and play all the time. I had no reason to get rid of it. But like I said, it was a loaner, it had to go. Then I did the Diezel amp. That was the mini amplifier. That was a cool amplifier. The Diezel's got the high gain 5150 sound. A lot of viewers have asked me which one did I like out of the three mini heads so far, the Bogner, the Diezel, or the Friedman. I like the Friedman the most. And I haven't reviewed the Friedman. I have it because there's another one coming, and I was supposed to send it to the channel. And when that one comes, I'd like to actually do a comparison of those two, because now that I've played the Bogner and the Diezel and the Friedman, I like the Friedman the most of the three. And so I would like to now compare the Friedman instead of doing it, an individual video of the Friedman, because there's so many out there. Do a comparison video. I did the PRS Mira SE, and that was PRS asked if they're, again, they're like, hey, the videos have done great. Is there another video you'd like to do? Because again, it gets people. And I said, yeah, could we do a giveaway? I figured since they keep coming back to the channel, let's see if we can spread the love. And I said, well, one of my favorite PRS is the Mira. Can we do a Mira? And they said, yeah, we can send an SE. So we sent an SE, and I did a giveaway with it. Guitar was great. I like it. Obviously, one of my main guitars is a PRS Mira. I use it all the time. It's a daily playing guitar for sure. And the SE was not far from it. It had a lot of the features that I liked. The neck feels great. Everything sounds great, feels great. It's a great guitar. Enlg Telly, this is the T-style Enlg guitar. There was a couple issues with the guitar. We talked about the issues. The owner of Enlg, Mo, had emailed me specifically and said, thank you for pointing those things out. What can we do to improve? What can we do better? And so, I gave him a suggestion. He said they're doing that. And he goes, everything you said, which is way more than they should ever have to do. He said they've fixed, which again, those were very minor issues. It was just for the price of the guitar, and it's a new brand. It needs to be kind of perfect idea. And other than that, I still have the guitar and I still love it. Funny thing about that guitar is it's definitely a guitar that I just don't see myself getting rid of ever, because it's just so nice. The overall quality of the guitar is just fantastic. Then I did the D'Angelico guitar, which is another brand. Again, you guys said, hey, we need to get that on the channel. And believe it or not, that was Sweetwater listening to the podcast saying, hey, we have D'Angelico. Can we send one out? And I said, yeah, can we do a giveaway? Again, trying to spread the love a little bit. And so that guitar, again, that was the first guitar I think I've ever opened out of a box and instantly regretted my idea of like, let's do a giveaway. It was a horrible idea. I should have kept that guitar. It was so nice. But it was just a guitar that I was like, okay, I have a guitar like that. I have a hollow body just like this. I have a guitar like this. Do I really need another one? And so I'm just happy enough to get, again, a product to make content. And so I sent it out and I did the giveaway. And it's in a nice home now, and the person who has it, I'm sure, loves it. Then, of course, Firefly came back and said, man, that last video did so good. Can we do another one? They sent a semi-hollow out. That was the green ES335 style guitar. That one was actually better than the first one they sent me. So now if you want to say, like, maybe they upped the game, for the review, they might have done that. I don't know. But overall, the guitar was very, very good. I still have the guitar. Then I did the Vela versus Vela. So semi-hollow versus solid body. As of now, I still like both, but I just can't justify having two Velas. And I flip-flop. Some days I think, okay, it is the hollow body. And then I go, no, it's the solid body. And I don't know. So I think mostly what it is in that video, if you notice, and this is a perfect thing about YouTube, and this is why sometimes it's nice to do follow-up videos. In the YouTube video, it's about the sound. It sounds good. I think the Semi Hollow had a more punchy mid-range sound. There's things I liked about it. It was fuller sounding. I liked it. I still feel that way. But not the guitars themselves. It's just these individual guitars, and these two individual guitars, for some reason, the neck on the solid one just feels perfect. Everything about the solid one feels great. When I play it, I just feel connected to it. They're the same neck profile, same guitars, just, you know how that goes. Just one guitar feels a little extra special. In this case, the solid one feels a little extra special. So I'm trying to decide what I care about more, how it feels when I play them or how they sound. And I'll tell you how it ends up. But right now I'm leaning towards the feel, but the sound is a big deal as well. Then we did the Orange Crush 120, and that was, again, you guys saying, hey, would you, Phil, you never review Orange. So I reached out to American Musical Supply to see if they could send out a Crush, and they sent out the 120. So I did it. A lot of you guys liked the video. A couple of you said, hey, why don't you do the new one? It's because that's what they sent out. I said, hey, let's do that one. They didn't have the new one in, so I said, let's send out something Crush. I was really trying to get a combo like the Crush 30. I thought that would be fantastic. The original idea was to do a Crush 30 versus the Katana video. I thought that would be a great video. Maybe help some people during Christmas to kind of decide which practice amp to go with. But AMS didn't have the Crush 30, so they were like, how about the Crush 120? Fantastic. So I did the video, and it's really cool. I did not end up keeping it because I don't really need a 120 watt solid state head. It wasn't something I was actively looking for me personally. Like I said, I was just looking for content to talk about and maybe look at. And I have to tell you, it did what I'm sure a lot of you hoped it did. It put Orange in a new perspective to me. I'm really now an Orange fan, and I will be buying an Orange amp soon being in time, but I don't know which one. And but soon you'll see one on the channel, because like I said, I'll buy one for myself. And I don't know if I'll do solid state or tube yet. I haven't decided. Universal aux video. I was super impressed. Like I said, in that video, there's a couple things there's issues with it that I didn't like, but a lot of things I love about it. It opened up my ears and eyes to a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts and a lot of things. And it's really cool. The downside, of course, is the price point. It's a very expensive product, especially if it's not only out of your budget, but especially if it's something that you think you're not going to utilize a lot. I think it's really best suited for some live applications, but mostly recording applications. The next product I did was the dummies, which are those plugs. What I left out was, a lot of times when I'm plugging speakers, cables into amps, I tilt the whole half stack or amplifier towards me, and I look over like this, and then I kind of look, right? And as you know, the amps are dark in the back, and you get your flashlight and you're looking behind this, because a lot of times you can't walk behind it, so I tilt it. And you're always like afraid the thing's going to fall over. And especially in my rig, sometimes I have 2 or 3 heads and I'm tilting them forward. And now I don't have to do that, because I can reach behind and I can just feel wherever there's not those plugs. That's where the cable goes in. I really should have mentioned what I just told you in the video, so I am now. Then I did the Vintage pedal, VNTAG pedal, which is a clone pedal. Fantastic company. They build their own pedals. They build their own casings. They do everything themselves, which is really unique in this industry. A lot of pedal companies don't do 100% of this stuff themselves, or even half, and they do. So let me just say, there's going to be more pedals on the channel from those guys. I really liked it. Obviously I still have it, and hopefully we'll have other pedals from them coming soon. I did the Captor X. So Two Notes sent out the Captor X unit, and I gotta say, thank them for that, because they sent it out because I said, hey, I have the aux, I really like it. I love my cab in, by the way, and I still love my cab in product from Two Notes. It's everything I want and more for a product, but it doesn't have the attenuation. And I said it would really be nice if I could actually compare the Captor X to it. Comparing the Captor X to the UA aux, I really have to say, well, like I said in that video, it's everything you need for a fraction of the price, and it's actually better in a lot of categories. And there's some things where it's not as good as the UA stuff, but just, I gotta tell you, unless you just fall in love with the aux, there's no reason to just not go the Captor way for that. It's just a fantastic product. Like I said, I did, I think, a fair assessment of that, but overall, I think the Captor wins. And then last video I did was the Soldano. I did the SLO 30. I did a comparison video with that, comparing it to the 5150, but mostly it was kind of to review the Soldano. That was a personal amp I bought. I think that's just what I want to hit again is it records so well. And that's the thing about it. In the room, I prefer the 5150. I just think it feels good. It sounds good. I like a little bit of the punchiness of the Soldano, but overall the Soldano has a very, very 80s, 90s metal sound, where the EVH has got more of the modern sound. So I think that's where you have to decide where your ear is on this. If you want to go for the more the vintage kind of metal sound, or the more modern metal sound, if that's a way to kind of think of things. And then price point, of course, helps. But like I said, of the two, if I could only keep one, I would keep the EVH. So there you go. There's my 2021 year in review, what I thought of the gear. Do I still like it? Do I still, have it? What happened? Is there anything I want to add to the story? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I want to thank you so much for supporting the channel, for the time you spend with me. I know it's valuable. There's nothing more valuable in your time, and that's why I think it's great that you spend some with me. And I appreciate that there's other gear nerds out there, people who love guitars, amps, music, talking about it, listening to it. And I appreciate you guys including me in part of your, your time. I guess that's what I want to say. Thank you so much for your time, and know your gear.